Welcome to Bikur Cholim 2020. A lot has changed this year. Our event isn't the same, our lives aren't the same, but what hasn't changed is Bikur Cholim's commitment to the community, to serve anyone who comes in from out of town, and to give just an ounce of relief to families who are in their most need.
Bikur Cholim is here for everyone in the community. It doesn't make a difference what your background, your affiliation. They're always there for you. So you could take the time that you need to focus on the loved one who is in the hospital and focus all your energy there. Bikur Cholim is always there for anyone, whether it's good times or bad times. And you never know when this wonderful organization could be knocking at your door, helping you with anything you might need.
Bikur Cholim is our largest fundraiser, and we'd like to thank all of you that came out and showed support for our organization and showed appreciation for volunteers from our community, for our community, to an organization that is always here for everyone when they need us. New hospital policies have been put in place, as everyone knows. These hospital policies are constantly changing. Patients have found themselves without their family in the emergency room and up in their rooms. They have not been able to be in touch with families all the time. It was a whole big mix. When all this started out, there was a lot of frustration between patients and families, and that's where Bikur Cholim came. Bikur Cholim got involved with our connections in the hospitals. We were able to set up communication, and we were able to figure out who should be the person to be in touch, get a representative from the family and get a representative from the unit, whether it was a nurse, it was another clinician, care management, social worker, whoever it was that would be able to share the information that's going on with the patient. We were not allowed into the hospitals. Our visitation volunteers were not allowed into the hospitals, but we still had to figure out how to get food to the patients. We still had to figure out how to put patients up when they came with their families to the hospitals. Many families have been coming from out of town, from the New York, New Jersey, tri-state area. We have families that are here from Europe, a few families from Europe. We have families from Israel that are here now. Our Bikur Cholim apartments have been full the whole time. We had to rent additional houses and additional apartments and hotel rooms near the hospitals to put people up, to be close to the families. Bikur Cholim was successful in setting up live stream video with families. We were able to set up many Zoom meetings or constant Zoom meetings so families could look in and be in touch with their family members. Even though they were not able to visit them, they were still able to see them and to speak to them. So patients arrived at the hospital and found themselves totally alone. They were there by themselves. Some of them didn't even think about taking along their phone or their charger, and within 2 hours their phone was dead. Families, as they walked a family member into the emergency room, were asked to wait outside, and not outside in the lobby, outside of the hospital, outside the building. I received a call one night. It was 9 o'clock at night. Somebody drove down from New York, 2 parents and a patient who needed an emergency surgery. They admitted the patient to the hospital, and after the patient was in the emergency room in a bed, the parents were told, okay, only one parent allowed. They had no plans. This was an emergency surgery, and the father found himself outside of the hospital in the rain with no contacts in Baltimore at all. And we were able to put him up in a hotel. Within the hour, he had a place to go.
My family has in the past used Bikur Cholim for good times and bad times. My father has been in the hospital many times, and Bikur Cholim was always there answering the call, helping us, whether it was helping us with patient advocacy in the actual hospital or their fully stocked pantry, which was always amazing and never empty.
It is really due to the patient advocacy that we started a few years ago, which built up these relationships that we have now with doctors in the hospitals, with patient relations, with patient experience, and care management, and all the connections that we have in the hospital, that we were able to use these connections now in a time when it was so needed and no one had these connections, and we were able to come into the hospital and we were able to connect the families and the patients. We were able to connect the parents with their children. We were actually able to set up sometimes where a spouse was able to stay with their loved one in the hospital throughout their hospitalization. We were able to set up quite a few telephone informational conferences where we had many of our community doctors were answering questions that people emailed, and many questions and confusion that was going on, whether it was about quarantine, whether it was about Pesach, whether it was about visitations, about visiting family members and so on. And we were able to set that up, which answered a lot of questions and diffused a lot of the confusion that was happening in our community. The kosher hospitality room, known as the Bikur Cholim rooms in the hospitals, have been stocked regularly, and we have opened them up to hospital staff from our community that have not been able to run out or run and buy themselves a lunch in the area. We sent food to hospital staff that had to stay near the hospitals for weeks at a time sometime. I'd like to use this opportunity to thank the Bikur Cholim team and the organizers who put in hundreds of hours to make this a very successful year. I'd like to thank Bonnie Pollack, our service coordinator, who is always there answering the phones, answering the calls, and putting things in place for our community. We thank everyone very much.
לא לפחד, השם אלוקיך הולך איתך. עם ישראל לא מפחד, השם אלוקינו השם אחד. עם ישראל לא לפחד, השם אלוקיך הולך איתך. עם ישראל לא מפחד, השם אלוקינו השם אחד.
Just a special thank you to Pinchas Rabinowitz, Executive Director of Bikur Cholim, and to Eric Reiperger, President of Bikur Cholim, for all they do, not just for the Bikeathon, but throughout the year for all those in need. All right, and now for our winners. The top fundraiser was once again this year Bill Goldberg at $16,200. Coming in second place was Penny Hexter at $10,500, and in third place Avi Rock with $6,500. Our top junior biker fundraiser was Menachem Gersman at a little over $3,000. And our top junior riders, who this year raised close to $10,000 altogether, our top fundraiser was Shoshana Ifra. Second place was Rosie Cohn, and in third place is Devorah Ifra. It was the Miles Challenge, and that was James Bornoff with over 3,500 miles, Moshe Smith with close to 1,000 miles, and Yitzchak Kimmelfeld with 770 miles.
ומלמעלה הוא שומר, צר ואויב לא יתקרב, אח לאח ויד ביד, ישראל זה עם אחד, ומלמעלה הוא עוזר, שומר שומר ישראל.
Bikur Cholim is one of these under-the-radar organizations that people don't realize how great it is until you need it. I called Mrs. Pollack last year. I got a call, someone was in the hospital from out of town. The person just arrived. She says, I got it already. It's already on our list. I wish to thank all the riders, all the volunteers for the hours of dedication to pull this off this year. And let's hope that next year we don't have to do this ride anymore.
I wanted to thank all of the riders, all the sponsors, all of the organizers of this incredible Bikur Cholim. Raised so much money, Baruch Hashem, but for an incredible organization that does so much for the Baltimore community. Really, Baruch Hashem, over the last several months, it's been challenging for everyone with the corona. But Bikur Cholim has been there every step of the way, and it's due to your support that we're able to actually accomplish this. So thank you so much. We should continue to be Zaycha, to help everyone in anything that they might need in terms of any kind of refuah. Mir Hashem, Hashem should wipe out all machla from all Klal Yisrael.
השם אלוקינו השם אחד, עם ישראל לא מפחד, השם